Hello and welcome to this week's Out of Control. If you've not seen it before, let's just take a quick look back at what you've been missing. As you can see, they do rally a wide variety of cars in Finland. Just look at the next four if you want proof of that. Let's just go back on board for a few more seconds and enjoy the ride. Oh well, at least the car's not too badly damaged. Off to Scotland now, and a few more brown trouser moments for a couple of unsuspecting crews. Just like the scene from the Italian Job, really. And who do you think was the more nervous here? The crew or the cameraman? Now this is a bit weird. The car rolls onto its side and no one seems to go to it. But then it just tips onto its wheels again. Was it the hand of God? Or were the two crew members just sitting in the car, rocking it from side to side until it fell over? Sometimes when you see drivers on a stage, you do wonder if they ever consider that there might be a bend ahead. And certainly the speed that some people approach a corner might lead you to believe that they don't even think that they might, just might, have to slow down at some point. With the result, well, it's obvious really, isn't it? You can't do much when your car starts to aquaplane though. Just wait for the accident to happen and hope for the best. Shame then that with no damage done, this crew managed to get stuck in the mud. Oh look, he's waving to us. Crikey, anyone would think that he knew what he was doing. Bournemouth's winter rally doesn't usually offer up much in the way of dry rallying either. I think the title says it all. But it's the first major rally of the British national season, and as such is a good chance for the drivers to get rid of some cobwebs. The winter rally is quite an unusual event in the modern era, in that cars get to drive on a straight mix of tarmac and gravel stages. And so car setup is a compromise, which promotes some fairly sideways motoring, with most people favouring the softer forest settings and being a little bit sloppy on the tarmac stages of Avon Park. Hey, I bet that woke you up. Now here's an interesting tale of brotherly love and goodwill to old teammates. The rally is a 1992 Pirelli rally, a round of the British Rally Championship. Going along nicely are this crew in a Vauxhall Nova, until the driver drops it off the edge of the road. Along come the ever helpful spectators, determined to get them on the way again with no time lost. But it proves to be a little bit harder to get it out of the shallow ditch than it first appears to be. But never mind, coming up behind is their teammate in an identical works Vauxhall Nova, so surely they'll stop and help. Of course not. On they go past the stricken car without even slowing down. Let's see what virtual commentator makes of that.
Aye, that's what friends are for. And if you want my opinion, the bloke in car 34 wants a chuffing bullet up his arse.
Yeah, well, thanks for that, Virtual. There might be more from you next week, but then again there might not be. And finally in part 1, it's not very often that you see a Mazda rallying, but we saw this one go over just a few weeks earlier. And then safely rebuilt, he only goes and does it again.
Can I just say something here?
No, you can't, Virtual. You don't exist. Just get back in your box. And maybe that's the point at which the co-driver says to his driver, listen, I think we need to talk. And after the break, yet more from the gentlemen of the rallycross circuits. Hello again. Without any messing about, let's go and see some banger racing, rallycross action. Now this is a bizarre incident. Watch carefully. One car spins, another one loses a wheel, and a third car leaps over the wheel. Virtual, how did you see that?
Well, you can see that as the Sierra's wheel falls off, the cow jumps over the moon, the little girl laughs to see such fun, and the dish runs away with a spoon. Oh yes.
Some inspired thoughts from Virtual. As I've said before, rallycross is one of the most spectacular forms of motorsport. And although it's quite popular in Britain, it's in Europe that huge crowds flock to see this organised form of motoring mayhem. But then some European countries like bullfighting, don't they? The very nature of the sport means that the driving is generally aggressive. It's a lean or be leaned on kind of world, but the leaner doesn't always come off best. You can see the frustration that the drivers feel when the leaning gets just a bit too personal. I guess he's a bit angry. when the day's over, you can always treat yourself to a nice donut. I wonder if the passenger wanted jam with his donuts. Well, after the wild and wacky world of rallycross, let's go to the more sedate sport of forest rallying. One of Britain's most famous ever rally drivers has a rally named after him. The Malcolm Wilson Rally in Cumbria benefits greatly from the support that the boss of the company that runs Ford World's Championship Rally programme gives it. And maybe, because Malcolm supports it, drivers might try that little bit harder to impress him. And it doesn't always work. Look out, there are Finns about. Yes, we're back over to Finland for some action from the mid-80s, where the Finns prove yet again that they bow to no man when it comes to throwing their cars into the trees. The incredible thing when you watch this footage is to realise that even today Finnish drivers use virtually the same cars as they did in the early 80s. And the only way you can date the event is by the quality of the video footage. Oh, that sounds bad, doesn't it? Probably just a fan hitting the radiator, I suppose. Virtual, what do you think?
Well, that's still better than the shit hitting the fan, all things considered. No, I don't think that car is going anywhere fast. Or slow, for that matter.
Now this is a peculiar section, because the stage finish is those two posts that you can see there. So in reality, the car should go through the posts to get a time. But some don't. And some try to take the posts with them. And others, well, they just about get away with it. But this chap makes a right pig's ear of it. First he nearly rolls it, then he regains the stage, then he realises that he's missed the finish, then he reverses down the stage, not at all dangerous that. Then he drives off the road, back round the post, and safely through to the finish. Probably to get disqualified for going the wrong way down the stage anyway. Well, that's taken care of that then. Now this does look serious. How on earth did a man dressed like that get let out at weekends? Call the fashion police. The Saabs were one of the first cars to have an integral roll cage built into them. This has nothing to do with the fact that they would roll over at the first opportunity. But to be fair, the Saab was strong and along with the Mini became one of the most successful early front-wheel drive cars. This chap wants to get going again, but I think that the underbonnet fire will put paid to that. When this Volvo stuffs it into the trees, you'd think that that was pretty terminal as well. But the driver thinks otherwise, and risking the derision of the crowd by getting out of the car still wearing his pyjamas, he jumps out to see what he can do. Not much, you would think. it doesn't look as if it's going anywhere. But eventually it does, and he's on his way again.
And for all we know, he's still there now. We're getting close to the end of the show, so it's time for this week's Top 10. Thanks for watching this week. Join us again next week for some more manic action.